I would always be picked last in sport teams and class activities. I didn't fit in at both high schools I went to. The first one was an agricultural high school, and the second one was a multicultural high school with mixed nationalities. I didn't belong at either of them. For some reason the girls hated me from day one for no reason. Maybe they judged me by the clothes I was wearing, or because I was some kind of threat to them for some reason. I still can't figure it out. When I started high school, my parents decided to put me down a year and be in the same classes as my brother as another tactic to belittle me. He resented me and sat on the opposite side of the classroom in every lesson. He would ride his bike way ahead or behind me to and from school. I used to walk or ride to school every day in all kinds of weather with a heavy school bag up and down hills. 5 kilometers each way. My parents didn't want to pick me up from school, they were usually drunk. They didn't want to pay for me to catch the school bus either. The school bus would drive into puddles to splash me. The kids on the bus would be laughing too. I tried to beat the bus run, so it gave me anxiety to finish class and run home. I couldn't wait for the bell to ring. Also, I feared Dad, so I wanted to get home quickly. He was controlling and wanted me to come home straight from school. I was told not let strangers drive me home, or people I know drive me home. One time it was pouring down with rain, and I was walking home from school. A mum of a classmate offered to drive me home, but I said no and just kept walking in the rain. I was drenched in water when I got home. My family didn't care, as long as I came home on time. In year 8 I sat all by myself and didn't talk to anyone. I didn't know how to make friends because I grew up with brothers and I moved so much. Also, all the girls at all the schools I went to knew each other, so I was always the unpopular new girl. Like I mentioned in the self-abuse coping mechanism chapter, girls used to push me out of their groupies and bully me to make me feel excluded. In the morning before school started, I would sit on the bench at the canteen area and wait a whole hour for the bell to ring and start class. I had severe anxiety and one time I was crying because it was raining and I was all drenched from walking in the rain. I was sitting on the bench crying and a teacher walked straight past. She saw me and just kept walking. After a year at that school, there was a new girl from a small town. She was a bit nicer than the other girls at school. I also went to TAFE with her. She was an emo girl and always had her hair dyed in different colors. We sat together on the bench sometimes in the morning. She used to catch an early bus. It was nice having someone to talk to for once. We weren't in many classes together though, which was sad. We weren't close friends, we just were acquaintances. We talked to each other in the morning so that we weren't alone. The reason I used to go to school super early and sit by myself for an hour in the cold is because I felt anxious every day. I hated school and hated being home too. I didn't like the kids on the buses seeing me walking or riding to school. My anxiety of all the kids looking at me was so bad, I ran to a shortcut at one of the streets trying to beat the bus run. It was embarrassing and I also got stage fright from it. Once my dad told me to tuck my pants into my socks so that the bike chain doesn't get caught on my pants. After the kids saw me looking like that, they would tease me and put me in the unpopular groups. Even the unpopular kids didn't want me in their group. After school, one girl would poke me with a stick and throw rocks at me. At both high schools there was a girl who bullied me. One was in my art class and almost made me fail because she was horrible and didn't want to be part of a team. She was told to be with me in a group that the teacher put us in, and she didn't want me to be in the group. She was ruining our art project on purpose and chucking tantrums. Luckily the teacher was nice and saw what was happening and gave me an A even though our art project failed because of her. One girl grabbed me by the neck and pushed me against a wall threatening me because I liked the same guy she liked or something dumb like that. Girls were so sensitive in high school. They used anything I said against me, twisted it, also cried to make me look bad when I was only talking small talk. For example, I would talk about who I thought was hot and they would get angry at me for it. One day after school at my first high school, I was probably in year 8, there was a nice teacher, and she gave me 3 guinea pigs. I was having a bad day, and it really cheered me up. I took them home after school. At that time, I was taking a school bus because the 100-acre property was far out of town. I still had to walk all the way from the bus stop to the house, which was a few kms. So, I did take a bus at one point, before my family moved to town. Those guinea pigs made me feel so happy. I was so excited taking them home on the bus. I couldn't wait to play with them. I'm surprised my parents let me have them in the first place. The teacher must have talked to them or something. Dad built a cage for the guinea pigs, and I painted it green. I was the only kid in the family to take care of them, feed them and clean their cage. Dad needed money, so he sold the cage, and I unfortunately had to get rid of the guinea pigs. Dad accused all of us kids for not taking care of them, and that's why he sold them to the pet shop. It wasn't true though. I would be out there even when it was raining feeding them and cleaning the cage. At both high schools, my oldest brother and I used to go to the breakfast club and grab extra food in the morning because we didn't get enough food in our lunch boxes. I remember being so hungry during the day and while walking home that even extra food from the breakfast club wasn't enough. That food was gross and was sugar-free as well. It was health food and tasted bland. I was embarrassed to take food from the breakfast club and tried not to be seen grabbing food from there. I hid the food in my school bag and ate it when no one was looking. The reason I felt embarrassed going to the breakfast club is because that's where the unpopular kids hung out in the morning. I also didn't want girls to think I was poor, and I just wanted to fit in. My brother used to have 2 or 3 bowls of cereal at the breakfast club, which was embarrassing to me. The teachers in the club probably thought we were poor, and I didn't want them to treat us different in class because of going there. Teachers were horrible to me. They put me down to bottom maths because they needed extra kids in the class, even though I was doing fine in middle maths. The teachers didn't want me to be there. They treated me like a burden for some reason. The woodwork teacher hated me with a passion. I made a step ladder, and it was a little wonky. He wrote with big red letters on it wrong. It was emotionally damaging, and I cried all the way home. I thought, how could anyone ever be proud of me with this wonky ladder? I also made a hand trowel and a pencil box with a perspex lid. It was challenging making them, and it was hard because of the negative feelings I got from the teacher. Also, the whole class had to share the equipment, and we all had to finish things on time before the bell rang. I would get anxiety trying to get things done before the bell, so that I could beat the buses and go home. I tried rushing the projects and didn't enjoy it. I got AD in that class and failed. If I had a better teacher, I would have passed. I'm sure if I went to a woodmaking class now as an adult, I would enjoy it because I wouldn't be under pressure and the teacher would probably be nice. When you're an adult and paying for classes, teachers are usually nicer. They are also not dealing with disruptive teenagers, so they would be able to teach without distractions. I put myself down a lot as a kid. In my adulthood, I'm learning not to be so hard on myself. It's a mindset that I'm trying to change slowly. I have stopped myself from punishing myself in my recent failures because I'm more aware of my negative mindset. Every time I fail at something, I take it out on myself, and I must learn to be kinder to my inner child. I used to have to take a spare set of boots around with me all day just for woodwork class. That class was usually the last one for the day, hence why I had anxiety about the school bell ringing. No one else had to wear those boots, but my parents made me take them to school to wear them. Even my oldest brother didn't have to wear those heavy, ugly boots. I think he secretly threw his out and never told my parents. He was embarrassed to be seen with me in class wearing the boots. He would wear his cool skater sneakers like all the other boys in our year. That woodwork teacher used to hit on one of my classmates and hit her butt with a ruler. There were a couple of teachers that would hit on me too, but the woodwork teacher didn't hit on me at school. When I worked at a supermarket after school, he hit on me there though, when he would do his shopping. He slapped my butt when I was filling the shelves. I hadn't even grown into a woman's body yet. I was a late bloomer. Another reason I didn't belong with the groupies or fit in at all. The woodwork teacher liked them young. He was married too, which disgusted me. I didn't get my menstrual cycle until almost 15 years old. It was awkward doing swimming lessons when all the other girls had boobs and I didn't yet. Everything was slow to grow for me. It made me self-conscious in high school. I was a bit jealous of girls who were grown up more than me. I probably took longer to grow up because I didn't eat junk food, also because I was probably not eating enough food during the day, so I didn't get food to support hormonal growth. Luckily, when I went on the pill later in life, that helped me grow breasts. It gave my body hormones to help them get bigger. One teacher that hit on me was a lady. She used to come up behind me and massage my shoulders. It was awkward. I never told anyone. I didn't feel safe talking to anyone in my life. I've been pretty much isolated my whole life. The school therapist at the second high school betrayed my trust and called Mum to the school and told her everything I told her. Mum felt humiliated and I felt embarrassed and betrayed. That made me feel even more withdrawn and I felt I had no voice, nowhere safe to go and talk. The pill took away some acne too. When my family moved back to Western Australia from Melbourne, Victoria, when I was around 13 maybe, they went to live with my nan and pop on my dad's side. They lived on a huge 100-acre property, with a lake down the back of the property. I used to go down to the lake alone all the time. Spending time alone. They had neighbors with 2 girls similar age to me, but they didn't like me, so I didn't hang out with them. My nan tried to encourage me to play with them at their house, but she didn't understand that girls were mean to me. Those girls also had grown into women, and I was still in a child's body, so couldn't fit in even if I tried. My nan wanted me to make friends my whole past life. She felt sorry for me because she grew up being an only child, which would have been quite lonely. I kind of made a friend for a very short time, and my nana was so happy for me. My nana loved her, probably more than she loved me. She just bragged about her a lot. That friend didn't last long in my life though, because she judged me for wearing push-up bras. She didn't want to be my friend because I didn't have breasts yet. I just pretended by wearing those bras. Suddenly, she didn't want to hang out with me at school anymore or visit me after school. I just wasn't cool enough for her. When I was in high school, when I got home, Dad would ask how my day was. I had to tell him every detail, or he would be verbally and physically abusive. Also, goodnight hugs were a control tactic, it wasn't love. He would yell at us kids to give him a goodnight hug. If we didn't hug him, he would be verbally abusive. When he yells, it's scary, his face goes red, veins show, and eyes wide open. He's like a vicious dog, a snappy Pomeranian. One time, he wanted a goodnight hug, and Dad forced me on his lap. I could feel what was happening in his pants, and forced myself off his lap, and ran to my room. I felt mentally sick, and felt shivers down my spine. He tried to get away with abusing me, but he knew that I knew what he was doing. That's why he let me go so easily. My family used to tease me for the way I used to hug everyone. I didn't hug by touching bodies together because of my dad. I developed my own way of hugging people so that they weren't feeling my body on theirs. I would just wrap my arms around, but that's the only part touching other people. The reason why is because I was repulsed by Dad. Hugging him gave me the creeps. My family teased me for it because they didn't know the reason why I acted like that when hugging, and I never told them. After high school, I did an art course. The first few semesters I completed in Perth while staying at an auntie's house. The last few semesters of the TAFE course, I ended up finishing in Albany W.A, living with my nan and pop. In between transferring TAFE, I believe I lived back home for a few weeks with my parents for some reason. During that time, I got back together with my high school boyfriend, my first true love. For a little while, I was young and naive, blinded by rose-colored glasses, and kept dating him. We were on and off a lot, so I can't quite remember all the details of when things happened. In the TAFE break, I also moved in with my nan and pop on the 100 acres, because they lived closer to the TAFE. So, I broke up with my boyfriend again. We didn't want to do long distance. Before I got my license, I used to catch the bus to TAFE from the town my nan and pop lived in. I walked all the way there from my nan and pop's house, which was probably 4 kilometers. I had a student bus card, which I used to get to TAFE for free. In the mornings while waiting for the bus to arrive, I would sit at the bus stop with the emo girl from high school. She decided to do the art course too. She wagged a lot of classes though, and was not a great influence to be around. She used to go to the cafe and play pool with the tradies. On our break, we would play pool together sometimes. It was fun. She wasn't playing it with me to be my friend though. She just wanted to look good to the guys, and would play against anyone really. One reason I decided to do the art course is because my family said I wasn't smart enough to do year 11 and 12. Also, I wanted to learn more about art. I wanted to do the art course anyway despite whatever they think. My nana encouraged me to do the course because she is an artist as well. She believed in me. She let me use her art room for my projects too when I moved in with them. I moved in with them while they were in the middle of moving into town. So, I had to move again, but I think it was during a break at TAFE, and that gave me time to move and settle into their new house. My pop was not welcoming of me living with them. He felt obliged to have me there and made me feel guilty a lot. He didn't like me being around. He would complain to my nana about me being a burden to them. I cleaned up after myself and bought my own food. I didn't pay rent there because my nana said I didn't have to, which got on my pop's nerves. He wanted to control me and put me down, also make me feel like a burden. My auntie that I was living with in Perth while going to TAFE there was teaching me how to drive. She became too lazy to teach me though, and decided to get her ex-boyfriend to teach me instead. He was so mean and put me down heaps. He was scary and gave me weird creepy vibes too. I didn't trust him because on the first day I moved in with my auntie, he gave everyone lunch and yelled at me and said, "Not you." I didn't eat lunch that day. I didn't have an income at that time and was codependent, so if I didn't get given food I missed out on eating. I have no idea why he treated me like that. My auntie's ex-boyfriend was interested in underage girls, not me though luckily. He was obsessed with one of my cousins who was living at my auntie's house. He was their stepdad in a way. She was a model and going to modeling events in the city. She was beautiful and had long legs, thigh gaps and was tall. I don't know if she still looks the same these days, because I haven't seen her for a long time. She's obviously still tall. Any girl would have been jealous of her back then. The auntie's ex would help her with her homework and school projects, touching her legs and being inappropriate. My auntie pretended she didn't see any of it. She's just like Mum, I guess, turning a blind eye to sexual abuse. It was stressful living there. My auntie agreed for me to live there rent-free. In the beginning I offered to pay, but she said no, it's all right. I cleaned her whole house every week while attending TAFE to show my gratitude for letting me stay with her. She took it for granted because she started saying I didn't clean when I did. She expected her house to be clean all the time. Then, one day she yells at me for not paying rent and accused me of stealing things. She accused me of stealing her hair straightener. I never stole anything from her. My cousin, the model, set me up. She gave me the straightener. Maybe she was trying to get rid of me by lying. I think my parents got in her head about the whole living there rent-free situation, because after she talked to them on the phone one time, she started flipping out on me for not paying rent for staying with her. I only had student payments from Centrelink, which wasn't much. I had to buy my own food with it and use it for important things. I needed the student pay to do my TAFE course at the time as well. It got extremely toxic living there. My auntie started playing mind games, not cooking me dinner, and things like that. I remember the cold feeling in my heart of neglect and exclusion. My auntie also put on a persona to the world as being a bubbly, positive person, but living with her she was a monster. My mum is just like that too. They are obviously related. My auntie also gave the impression of being rich when she wasn't. My auntie used to go to a cheaper supermarket and would buy the bare minimum. She would spend money on expensive clothes and getting her and her model daughter's nails done. She also made my cousin get bikini waxes done frequently, which was weird in my opinion, because my cousin was so young. My cousins would starve sometimes. They were skinny. The cousin who was a model got told by my auntie to only eat a can of tuna a day to keep her physique. She neglected my cousins and was horrible to my younger cousins. My younger cousins got screamed at all day for little things, and it was toxic to be around all the screaming and yelling. So eventually I was no longer welcome living at my auntie's. I got pushed out. I did 6 months of TAFE, while being there until I got kicked out for not paying rent on time one time, but I promised I would pay it. I accidentally bought some shirts without checking my bank account first. Also, I had to leave because my auntie was still holding a grudge about the hair straightener. As I talked about, I continued TAFE in Albany living with my grandparents. I'm so grateful that I passed my art course because the new TAFE was already halfway through projects and I had to catch up. I got thrown into the middle of it. My nana talked to the teacher, and then the teacher had more patience with me and helped me. That course was awesome because it involved different activities. Our class did pottery, abstract art, studying and writing and building art structures. We also went to Denmark as a whole class and went to art galleries and markets, also pottery shops and cafes. My nan and pop came one time and we all went to a cafe. I felt a little out of place though because I was a teenager hanging with elderly people. A lot of my younger classmates weren't serious about the course, so they didn't come on the outings. I also put some of my art in an art gallery in Albany. I felt so proud of myself. Asterisk, this is how I think